presented by Auto Trader. It's been easy for the Spurs getting to the playoffs in the last few years. 24 seasons for Greg Popovich. And while he's been there, boy, have they been consistent. 22 of those 24 seasons, they've gone to the playoffs. Here are the wins. Third most all-time in the regular season and the playoffs. You see the faces there on the right. Consistency, season after season. Well, right now, they're 5 games back of the Grizzlies for 8th, and all of this can come to an end. 22 consecutive winning seasons, 22 consecutive playoff appearances. They face the Mavericks tonight. They're 10 games under 500. Can they turn it around and keep those Popovich streaks going? Judging by Shaq's face, I'm not sure. We're joined by 2 people that have a better idea than us. Brian Anderson, Jim Jackson going to be calling the game. They'll be joined by Chris Haynes. Fellas, does it feel like it's all coming to an end?
I think it does feel like that. And, of course, this is the city that Shaq built, San Antonio, Texas. And saw a lot of winning here, Jimmy. The San Antonio Spurs are just a much different team. They haven't experienced this kind of losing, potentially missing out on the playoffs since Greg Popovich's first year as head coach. And remember, David Robinson was hurt that year. It was the next year, 1997, that they drafted Tim Duncan. That was the gift that keeps on giving, or was giving for many years. But it looks like the Spurs' reign could be coming to an end, minus a dramatic finish.
Yeah, but unfortunately, all good things do come to an end, but it's a matter of how long that end takes, because you can have a down year, figure things out. Look, had a lot of turnover in regards to roster because of injuries. So you never were able to develop continuity here in San Antonio. Infuse that with some young players that are trying to figure out what the NBA is really all about. Also, how to fit into with Greg Popovich. But I think the key with the San Antonio team is, okay, you have one down year. You don't let that fester into multiple years.
Right.
You figure out ways to continue to build, grow your young talent. You have some veterans. You bounce back next year. And this one is almost like, well, it happened. We went through it, and we moved on.
20 games left for the Spurs. They do get some good news tonight. LaMarcus Aldridge will return for the Spurs. Jimmy, he's missed 6 games. He's under contract for next year. If you're going to build and rebuild, this is one piece to start with to try to get back into the postseason potentially next year.
Well, I'll tell you who's happy besides the team, you know, the coaching, that LaMarcus Aldridge is back. That's Rudy Gay. He doesn't have to play the 5 anymore.
Right.
So he gets beat up. But to have LaMarcus back, again, the injuries stymie what you want to do as far as growth. Now, are you completely out of the playoff race? Not really, but by having Aldridge back in the lineup, that gives you a better opportunity, one, offensively, put the ball in the basket, but second, where the team has struggled a lot is on the defensive end. At least it gives you that rim protector that you sorely need.
One thing about the Spurs, they've never been swept in a season series by the Mavericks. Dallas has a chance to do that tonight. They have dominated the Spurs this year. Dallas is keeping a close eye on the standings right now. They're in the 7th position. They're trying to move up. And Jimmy, to me, you'd see the 3 games that separates the Jazz in the 4th position, which is home court advantage in the first round, and then the Dallas Mavericks. Those 3 games, that's doable even with 17 left when you consider the Mavericks' push this year for a postseason.
Yeah, well, teams would tell you they don't care who they want to play in the playoffs, but matchups are the key. You can look at that right now. It's Dallas versus the Clippers. Right now they're 0-2 versus the Clippers in the regular season, and those 2 losses were there in Dallas. Now they still have 2 more to go, but that's not a matchup, if I'm on the outside looking in, that you want to see. So if you can advance and move up a little bit more in those standings and have a favorable matchup in that first round that gives you a better opportunity, you do that. But at the end of the day, talking to Rick Carlisle, it's all about finishing the season by winning games no matter what.
All right. Luka Doncic will be in the lineup. He's going to start here tonight. He's been dealing with a wrist injury. He came out early. Matter of fact, he was on the first bus, which is not something he normally does. You see the right wrist is bandaged. I wouldn't say his warm-ups went great. He didn't look like he was comfortable, but they've just confirmed the starting lineups, and he will be in there. And that combination of Doncic and Porzingis, they've found a new chemistry, a new place, I think, as we get into the second half.
Well, the reason why is because they've been able to be on the court together. At the beginning of the season, the injuries kind of took effect where the 2 players could not coordinate on the court. One was in, one was out. But through this stretch, they've been both together, and Porzingis also trying to figure out a new role for himself, a lot different than what he played while he was at the Knicks. Also coming back from injury is also a challenge, but now he seemed to kind of figure out his niche and what he can do. In particular, as he plays the 5 position, it allows him, like Rick Carlisle said, to be the trailer, so the ball is initiated through his hands a lot more. And now that coordination between he and Doncic is like kind of something that everybody's been waiting to see.
All right, guys, back to you in the studio. Looking forward to this Texas matchup tonight, the Spurs and the Dallas Mavericks. Last meeting of the year between these two.
Appreciate it, guys. B.A. Jim Jackson. That game is going to tip off at 8. First thing I thought when I saw Luka's wrist was, that's a target, right? Like if he goes through the lane?
It's a new day.
Well,
It's a new
in
day.
the old school, yes.
Yeah.
I would have told D-Wade, first play of the game, let him go baseline and touch him up. But
Gotcha. I appreciate your
I don't
honesty.
know what they're going to do, of course.
All right, it's easy. Presented by Auto Trader. Last 10 games, the Mavericks, you see the points. They are the most efficient offense in the NBA by a wide margin. In 3 games against the Spurs this year, Luka's averaging 30, 10, and 11 assists. We'll see if that can continue. That's pretty unbelievable, right?
DWLN,
And that means?
D-Wade like numbers.
Ooh.
I like that.
D-Wade, what do you think of Luka so far? Is he a guaranteed superstar?
Well, I mean, no one's a guaranteed superstar, right? He's very, very good, and he's exciting to watch. I think his age, at 21 years old, just turned 21, it makes all of us kind of look back at his numbers and say, wow. But I think when I think about this game, when I think about Luka and watching him warm up, it's the time of the year when it's, as a player, are you injured or are you hurt? Right? This team right now needs to make that move up to 6, so they're not facing the Clippers in the first round. And this is an important game. Even though San Antonio is not as good this year, this is a tough place to win. And if you can walk away with a good road win, then it matters. So that's why he's suiting up. So is he injured or is he hurt?
And if you look at Luka, of course he's 21, but people, forget that he's been playing pros since 15 years old.
Sure.
And, that there's no knock on the way the Americans play basketball, but over in Europe, they're much more fundamentally sound. So if you're playing at the age of 15 with guys that are older and stronger than you and much more fundamentally sound, when you get over here in a talent-based league, of course you're going to do some work.
Last time Porzingis played the Spurs, he went for 28 and 12, and he does seem like a new type of player. What are you seeing out of that duo between Luka and Kristaps recently?
I was really happy. During the time Luka was injured, I was happy to see Porzingis get his legs back.
Yeah.
Because all of us know that have been injured, it does take about, in a serious injury, it takes about a year for you to get confident.
Just to get back to where you were.
To get back where you were and to trust it. And there was one transition play where the ball was out and you could see him pull up early in the year, and now he's extending and going in and dunking at the rim in transition, which I think is the biggest fear to get over. But Luka and Porzingis as a duo is going to be scary for years to come. I do think for their first playoff round experience, they need to move up in the standings and not, like D-Wade, face the Clippers. Because you don't want that experience in the first round.
But Jimmy Jackson said, as
You don't
players,
want
we like to lie and say, oh, it don't matter.
Yeah, you don't
No,
want
it
that.
does matter.
Yes.
It matters.
Last 14 games for Porzingis, he's averaging 26 and 11. I don't think you want to face this Mavericks team, though, in a 7-game series. This guy not playing tonight, Steph Curry, but it was great to see Shaq's favorite guard back in action. We're going to have more about the 2 games we got and the other 9 in the NBA on the Auto Trader pregame. Welcome back to the Auto Trader pregame show. Some are saying the greatest pregame show outside of Thursday nights. So, speaking of the greatest, we have the greatest game. Every week they do it. It goes viral on IG and on Twitter. Our 2 guys, Max is nice, B.A. in the
What's the score?
imitation game. It is 2-2.
Tied up.
Back-to-back,
Game
squared
five.
up.
This is
Game
going to be a
5.
good one.
And they are doing Steph Curry tonight. So we're going to start off with Max is nice. Getting away from
That's
the
creative.
defenders, running people off screens.
Yo, his mannerisms, though. And his head to the side.
Now, Max always
Do
takes
you see
it
his
up.
head? Do you?
Yeah, he puts the head aside. He's good.
Honestly, I need to see some mouthpiece work. All right, B.A. There it is. See, there's the
That's
mouthpiece.
that was viral the other day, what he did against the Clippers.
Oh, yeah, with CP3.
Yeah.
Outside Curry, 3. Every chamber is filled.
This is going to be a close one.
This is
Yeah.
close.
No, but they.
Oh, winner.
If he got that head aside.
He's got that Steph shimmy, too.
He came
from around the house.
He came from around the house.
Oh.
I like this one.
All right, let's go around the table. Again, vote on Instagram and Twitter at NBA on TNT.
Where's B-Dot living? Because that was.
I know.
Hey,
you
listen,
were coming
B-Dot
from-
making
He's
living
real
well.
money.
Do the imitation
go
game? Like, golly.
Go for it.
I'm going to go with the B.5 because he showed a shot going there. The other guy just did a lot of shots.
Max is nice. This is the first time I'm voting for B-Dot, too. It's my first vote for B-Dot in 5 weeks.
Ooh, what you got, D?
I'm going B-Dot on this one.
Wow, is it a clean sweep? You could prevent it.
That's because he hit that one shot. He shot it and turned around.
Turned around. That's a Steph.
It was yak.
He did a lot of stuff.
Splick, hack, hack.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I'll go with B-Dot.
Okay. The panel has spoken. We're all going with B.A. Instead of recapping the last week in 60 seconds, I took a dive on Mike Camerlengo's Twitter page and I realized he does a lot of recaps of movies. I said, can you do a recap of a movie Shaq was in? So he is.
Which one?
Blue Chips. Here's Mike
Ooh,
Camerlengo
that was a
recapping an amazing basketball movie in 60 seconds.
Pete Bell is a college basketball coach who's the odds-on favorite to have his heart explode on national TV. After another disappointing season, Arliss tells the staff that if they want to win, they need to recruit Butch McRae and Ricky Rowe. But it's not that easy, as Butch's mom wants a house with a lawn and Ricky's dad wants a new tractor. Coach gets word of another prospect named Neon, so he goes down to Louisiana, and sweet Moses, that's the face of a man who just saw a bird playing the violin. Neon agrees to go to Western if Coach can find Waldo on his shorts, and Coach is like, yeah, okay, let me try to convince my ex-wife to be your tutor while you reenact scenes from Kindergarten Cop. Pete gives the sketchy booster the okay to pay the players, but the good vibes don't last as Coach gets uneasy about the arrangement and tells Mr. Soon to be indicted by a grand jury to go back to huff and paint in the country club bathroom that he came from. But the booster's like, actually, I own you since I had your guys point shaven 3 years ago. They beat the #1 team in the country, but instead of celebrating, Coach goes all emo in the locker room and says that they're about to find out that loose lips do in fact sink ships. He tells the press that they cheated and the system screwed up and then quits before walking to the playground where he starts coaching random kids and they're like, thanks mister, are you the guy from the bowling alley that drinks vodka from his shoe?
And that is Blue Chips in 60 seconds. Shaq, your response.
That was my first movie. Shout out to Anthony Hall, my homeboy Chicago, Penny Hardaway, Nick. That was my first movie in LA.
How did it feel? Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was very nervous, but then I said, okay, I'm only playing myself, so it's not like I'm doing Denzel Washington type acting, but it was fun.
I like when you said the test was culturally biased.
Oh, it is culturally biased. They all
Yeah,
are.
I like that because I didn't pass the test, so I was like, yeah, what Shaq said.
Me either. I know you did, Ken.
Sorry, I wish
No.
I could jump in on this one.
Yeah, we're not talking about her.
I passed the test. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, here's Kristaps Porzingis.
That's because your family wrote the test.
How did you know? We'll see if he can take down DeMar DeRozan. Mavs Spurs coming up next.
You too, Adam.
You see how big those shorts were he was wearing?
Welcome back to the Auto Trader pregame show. Here's what we got for you tonight. 8 o'clock, Luka Doncic looking to sweep the Spurs this season. And then after that, it's going to be Clippers, Warriors at 10:30. Kawhi Leonard, the cyborg, ready to bounce back. And that is where we are going to find our good pals, Ian Eagle and Stan Van Gundy. They're going to be joined by Jared Greenberg to cover Clippers, Warriors tonight. I am very excited because I have two guys that played for Stan Van Gundy, and I know they love him with a lot in their heart. Ian, Stan, what are we expecting from the game? And I'm also going to need some stories about D-Wade and Shaq.
Don't do it,
about
Coach.
Adam, we are here early, so you're getting unique insight. There is a little rehearsal going on behind us. Stan will be joining in after we're done with this hit. We know that 19 games remaining. The Clippers have very high expectations of what this season is all about. Championship level expectations for LA. What has made this team so potent? It's a combination. You've got the dynamic starting duo of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. You've got the super bench duo, although Lou Williams, question mark tonight with a calf injury, Montrezl Harrell having the best year of his career. And then the depth and versatility changes made late in the season to bring in more talent. Stan, this team is stacked.
Well, they are. Look, the early returns with their whole group, they've played 7 games. They're 6-1 against a very tough schedule. They're in the top 5 of in the league at both ends of the floor. Okay, they're the deepest, most versatile team in the NBA. But the advantage teams like the Lakers and the Bucks have is they've been together all year, while this team's got a third of the season for Doc Rivers to pull it all together.
And that's really the main question now with LA. It's great to have depth. Regular season depth helps you get through an 82-game schedule. You get to the playoffs, things change, rotations change. Is this what Doc Rivers and his coaching staff has to focus in on and figuring out who fits with who once you get to the postseason?
Yeah, that's going to be a big challenge, and he needs some time to figure it out. But we've already seen the roles of Lou Williams and Landry Shamet decline quite a bit. Lou Williams down about 7 points a game since the trades, even though all of his percentages are up because he's getting fewer shots. And Landry Shamet has really taken a decreased role.
Yep.
He's down to about 14 minutes a game over the last 4 games.
All right, let's talk about this Golden State team. Obviously, this is not what they've grown accustomed to here in the Bay Area. 5 straight appearances in the NBA Finals, and this is the kind of year that it's been. 33 different starting lineups. That's the most in the NBA. 7 rookies on the roster, and they rely on those rookies. 29 points per game between them. The games missed due to injury and illness. Look, we understand what this season is. It's about evaluating talent for the Golden State Warriors. They have some players that certainly have proven they belong in the NBA. The question for those players moving forward, will they be rotation players for this Warrior squad?
Yeah, and the best way to find that out for the Warriors is to get at least 12 or 15 games with Curry, Wiggins, and Draymond Green all out there, 3 of what will be their core 4, and see how these other guys fit in.
And the other guys that you're alluding to, Eric Pascal, Damian Lee, and Marcus Chris, these are players that have been given an opportunity.
Yeah, and I think Eric Pascal has shown that he can be a bench scorer, maybe lead the second unit next year offensively. Damian Lee is a solid guy who shoots it and rebounds very well for a guard. And Marquise Chris is a smaller version of what they had when they had JaVale McGee, a guy who can pick and roll to the rim, catch lobs, dunk the ball, get on the offensive boards, block some shots.
Adam, third meeting of the season for these two teams. Right now, the Clippers 2-0 against the Warriors. Really enjoyed the way you guys opened your show. We do not have a smoke machine in the budget here on site.
That's a missed opportunity, D-Wade.
Yeah, it is. Huge.
It really is, and I would have liked to have danced out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we
Stan loves to dance.
Come on, Coach.
Yeah,
Let me
like
see.
You could just stand up, Stan. It's
No,
You can do a little moonwalk
it
in.
wouldn't be enough. I deserve more than that.
true. True. What do you got for him?
All right,
D-Wade?
Stan Van, I got a question for you. So, obviously, since you haven't been in a head coaching position, you look a little relaxed. And we all know that as a head coach, you deal with a lot of misery. And, well, I don't know if a lot of people know that head coaches deal with a lot of misery when they really care. But who really deals with it is their wife. So, question about Kim. How is Kim doing in your retirement? How much does she love having her loving husband around?
Well, let's say this. She's doing very well, but I'm not sure it's because she enjoys having me around, D. I'm not really sure that's the case. I think she likes it when I head out on these trips for a couple of days. I think your wife can probably relate to that.
Hey, Coach, I'm going to try to bring it back to basketball. You know, I got to bring the set back every now and again. But the Clippers, we watched them this past weekend when they played the Lakers. I saw Kawhi maybe defer to Paul George because he had it going early on. Do you see that being a problem down the stretch? Do you see them kind of figuring that out? It just seems like they're deferring to each other a little bit too much.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think what that team needs is more and more games together, Candace. I mean, that's their only real problem right now. I think they fit fine. I think they've got enough talent, but they need time to play together, and they really haven't had it enough this year. If they can stay relatively healthy the rest of the way, I think we're going to see a very, very good Clippers team headed into the playoffs.
Coach Shaq here. As you watch the Clippers play, does Montrezl Harrell remind you of a young Udonis Haslem, the way he plays the game?
You know, that's really a great point, Shaq. I think in terms of his intensity, the way he brings it at both ends, the way he steps up and takes charges and does all the little things, yeah. But where Udonis became a better shooter as time went on, I think Harrell's gone the other way, and it's helped him. You know, he came into the league as a 4-man, and he kept trying to work on that shot. As the league's gotten smaller and he moved to the 5 spot and just does everything in the paint, he's become a better player.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. And again, Stan, if you want to just take a few steps back, looks like the Warriors dancers need a little Van Gundy.
Bring in the smoke machine.
Well, look, they had my age group out there dancing before, and I couldn't have even kept up with them, so.
Yeah, we're just going to enjoy Stan and the Stanettes here for the rest of the
Beautiful.
time. Yeah.
I and Stan, you guys are awesome. Enjoy the game. That game tips off at 10:30. They'll be joined by Jared Greenberger. Ooh.
On TNT Tuesday pregame show, presented by Auto Trader. Finally, it's easy.
Before Zion and Ja, before Luka and Trey, Devin Booker was the league's baby-faced assassin. Still just 23 years old, the only active player with a 70-point game. Devin Booker is somehow already in his 5th NBA season. He's also the face of the Suns franchise, a position our Hall of Fame teammate Steve Nash held for years. Now, Nash is holding court with Booker and puts him amongst the NBA's elite. Devin Booker is up to 26 points per game, 6.5 assists, 4 rebounds this season. He was talking about how he definitely has the respect of his peers. It sounds like it was a veiled shot at the media that he didn't get that all-star vote in right away, but what do you guys think? I mean, you've played Devin Booker. What's your take on him in the NBA right now?
Well, I had an opportunity this summer to invite him to my invite that I do every summer, and got a chance to be around him. And a lot of people, we know of him as being a great scorer. But what I was impressed with was his thirst for knowledge, right? Like, he was the first one there. He was the one who stayed after. And I scored 70 points before, but I don't know everything. So we was able to work on the court. And so just seeing a young guy who's really open to everything. And, what I'm worried about with Phoenix, and my good friend James Jones is there as a GM, I'm worried about if they don't get the talent around him that he needs now, that he's going to look at his friends, that maybe is having fun of success somewhere else, and money will not matter at that point. But the guy can play the game of basketball better than most.
Suns have 26 wins, and he said the thing that matters to me most right now is winning. That has to weigh on you after a while. Even though he's 5 years in, he's putting up the numbers, the wins aren't there yet.
Well, I think from an organizational standpoint, they get some of the blame, but as a player, what your legacy is, I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, he's been overlooked. You think about his time at Kentucky. He came off the bench a couple games for Kentucky. Luke Kennard, drafted to Detroit. They passed on him, and he ended up falling to Phoenix. So I think just there's a level of disrespect that he's had his entire career. We all know and respect his grind and the way that he plays the game of basketball, but they don't respect you until you win. And I think he needs to put pressure on his organization. He didn't have a point guard all of last year. He's playing point guard. Like, there are certain things that you need to surround your star player with.
And Ricky Rubio's definitely opened it up. I know that there's certain guards you'd love to play with. Is Devin Booker one of them?
No, probably not. But I would love to watch him play. People are amazed that when I say who my favorite players are, most of them are guards. I like watching guys do stuff that I can't do. And Devin Booker is definitely a guy who, does stuff that I can't do on the court. Great shooter, great player. I agree with what both my colleagues said, but this is only going to make him a better person. Before you succeed, you must first learn to fail.
No doubt.
I like the fact that he's pissed off he didn't make the All-Star game, and he's putting up great numbers. But at some point, he's going to have to realize that in order to be a great player, you're going to have to make other guys around you better. We have to deal with the cards that we're dealt with, but me and D-Wade played with a lot of guys that shouldn't even be in the league, but we made them better. One of my favorite players we played was a guy named Jason Capono. He couldn't play defense, he couldn't do anything, but
he could shoot that thing.
And that's all we needed.
Yeah.
That's all we needed. So, I understand he doesn't have talent around him, but if you look at what he has on paper, they're okay. So I'm the type of guy I don't really like, because you got Aiden, you got a big guy. I don't know the other players. So, but
you said he's okay, and you named one player.
I don't watch them because they're not winning. But when I see him on the court, he got a lot of talent.
He only watches winners.
They're okay. He's got a lot of players around him.
Listen, they got a big guy, they got a guy that can dribble, and they got a guy that can shoot it. So I don't want to hear no excuse about, put talent around him. You are the talent. Make it work.
Shout out to Jason Capono. Freshman year at UCLA was insane.
That's how I found D-Wade.
Really?
Yeah.
From Jason Capono?
No, I was watching the playoff game. I was like, who is this kid playing with a bunch of okay guys? And
Love it.
He made them better. So I don't want to hear that. Candace, I will not. Oh, yeah,
The Groveness. It's the camera guys. Ooh, I'm blind now. Welcome inside, where Shaq goes wild on Tuesday nights of Inside the NBA. Auto Trader pregame show. All right.
Oh, you're looking good, Candace.
I will say the maroon velour.
Stop messing the picture up.
You messing up. Okay.
Oh, amazing. Almost as picture perfect as our slate tonight.
I like that.
Thank you.
You liked it.
It was nice.
We are going to have Mavericks Spurs. Luka Doncic has played the Spurs 3 times this year, 3 triple-doubles. We're going for number 4. And a little bit later, the Clippers are going to try and take out all that frustration from the weekend and the Lakers game on Golden State. But what we saw this weekend, we have to start off with. Friday, the Lakers, they face the Bucks. They win by 10. Sunday, they face the Clippers. They win by 9. These were the 3 teams that we talked about all year long. Clippers, Lakers, and Bucks, and Lakers beat 2 of them, and LeBron was phenomenal in both. It's changed the conversation completely. Candace, are the Lakers, in your mind, far and away the best team in the NBA right now?
Right now, yes.
Okay.
I do believe that we asked that question before we went into this weekend about how we were going to learn a lot about the Lakers after this weekend, and I think we did. I mean, for them to beat Clippers, obviously then come in and beat the 2 hottest teams at that point in time, and LeBron to do it in the manner he did. He did not take a shot in the third quarter, and he affected the game in multiple ways. He showed trust in his teammates. The Lakers are the hottest team on the block right now.
You agree?
I do agree, and I like what they did versus Milwaukee. They're saying, okay, Giannis, you the man, guard me then. And AD went at him, LeBron went at him. You know, they made him play defense. You know, usually with a guy like Greek Freak, most of the time he's just playing offense.
Right.
And he's coming from the weak side playing defense. But they're saying, okay, you're the man. Everybody clear out, come get this work. And they took it to him. And, you know, the Clippers, you know, they started off kind of slow, but they picked it up. So they really had 2 great, fabulous home games. I would be more impressed if they did it on the road, because we all know playing at home, family's there, your boys there, the crowd's there. They did well, so I do agree with Candace. They are the best team in the NBA, but I'd have been more impressed if
Shaq,
they
are
did
you
that
crying?
on the road. Yes, I'm always crying.
He was passionate.
That is not emotion. That is
passionate about his
that
Lakers,
is called when you're dancing.
Passionate about his Lakers, man.
Saw that, right? I'm crying.
You know LeBron very well. And the conversation about MVP has changed too, where it seemed like it was runaway Giannis, and now every show I turn on, is it LeBron? Is it Giannis? One, D-Wade, do you think LeBron really wants this MVP? And what do you think? Do we have enough time for him to take it down the stretch?
Well, being in the arena, I was there against Milwaukee Friday, and it was a different king that showed up.
Okay.
You know, when you're 17 years in, not every regular season game is going to give you that oomph that you need. And I seen the look on his face. You could tell by the energy, the body language, that this game mattered, because when these new guys, these young guys trying to come up and take your crown, in a sense, it's your time to show them that it ain't time yet. I'm not giving it to you. And for me, that's what this weekend was about, especially against Giannis. It was like, last time we played y'all, you crowned yourself. Now I'm about to let you know who's the king. And he did that. He showed why he is still the game's greatest player.
Do you think he thought about the crowning? Like, do you think that stayed with him to see Giannis doing that in Milwaukee?
I mean, we show it enough and we talk about it, right?
Yeah.
I think definitely it's something that after the game he kind of checked, like, okay, all right. And yes, they were both at home. They both did their job at home to win at home. But this time of the year, when it's time to like start revving up for the playoffs, this was a big game for the Lakers. They really needed that win to kind of help all of us look at them and say, okay, no, they for real.
And to add to what D-Wade is saying, he played Zion that same week. And you have a guy that has been told that the NBA is in his hands.
Right.
And you're playing all these young bucks, and you're like, nah, hold on. It's harder to be the hunted, and it's easier to be the hunter. And this week we found out that LeBron is not ready to give up that crown yet.
At all. Who was your pick before the year?
For MVP?
For to win the title?
To win the title, I would Milwaukee.
And does that, did this weekend shake your confidence at all?
Not really.
Okay.
Because, you know, it happens like that. You know, certain games you really get up for. And I'm sure with, you know, Giannis crowning himself the king, I know for a fact LeBron was circling that game. And, you know, like D-Wade alluded to, the league ain't yours yet. I know I'm 17 years in, you know, everybody's saying I'm old, but I'll give it to you when I'm ready. However, a guy like Giannis, you know, he's still hungry. So now he's upset. So next time they meet, you know, it may be a little different. But, you know, that was the first time I seen somebody go at Giannis with multiple players. Like, you know, a lot of times when you play against the Bucks, you know, you want to switch away from Giannis. Oh, he's too long, he's too athletic. But LeBron and AD said, nope. No. Come over here, Mr. MVP. And they made him work. And he couldn't stop neither one of them. So,
that's what was interesting to me. Anthony Davis was going off. The other big news and notes around the NBA is the preparation in terms of handling the coronavirus. There's been a lot of things put into effect kind of starting tonight. Separation between the media and the players, separation between the locker rooms. It seems as though the NBA is trying to get ahead of this and creating separation. What do you got for me, big man?
Dr. O'Neill has no.
Yeah, what do you think,
Dr. O'Neill has no.
I need to look at my medical research.
Okay. Well, we're going to get the medical research to Dr. O'Neill, and we'll classify what we see.
Yes,
but you will see some different in terms of on-air interviews tonight with the coaches, and a little bit later we're going to hear from Stan Van Gundy and Ian Eagle as they get ready to cover the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard. Auto Trader pregame show continues next.
Conference teams for the.
What's on, man? It's going down, and down, I was just jamming. Remember that song?
Back in 2000?
Down.
Yeah, was that like 2000?
It don't matter.
I like it, Shaq.
Hi, Aaron. I'm so happy to be here.
How are you, Shaq?
I'm doing fabulous.
Here we are inside Studio J, inside the NBA, presented by Kia. Comes your way next. Highlights of all 4 games tonight. And we are having a game show tonight.
I'm guaranteeing a win, America.
A game show.
Good luck to
later tonight.
I'm guaranteeing a win, America. Trust me. I'm telling you right now.
That's a bold prediction there, Shaq. That's a bold prediction.